Hi everyone, and welcome back to Project No Buy. In today's video, we're going to be de-influencing the Sephora sale, in a manner of speaking. So this is kind of going to be a general chat about how buying anything because it's on sale is a bad idea, using examples that have been posted on TikTok in the hundreds, possibly thousands, because of the upcoming Sephora sale. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. And instead of providing my usual disclaimers about how, take what you need and don't take what doesn't apply out of this video, I'm just going to say the girlies that get it, and the girlies that don't. So if you're into the conscious consumerism, being critical of consumer culture, then maybe you're one of the girlies that gets it. Let's look at our first video here about makeup that's actually worth your money.
No fluff, no BS. Makeup that's actually worth your money. Armani Luminous Silk Foundation for coverage that actually looks like skin. Hostess Revealer Concealer. Viral for a reason. Covers everything but hydrating and non-cakey. Armani Fluid Sheer. Like blush, bronzer, and highlighter in one step. Hostess Cloud Set Baked. Gets rid of the shine but keeps the glow. When I was looking for a powder, this is the number one that you guys suggested for me. Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze for eyebrows that stay where you place them. Armani Eye Tint, slap it on. It blends out in literally seconds. Plus Patrick Ta Major Dimension Eyeshadow Duo for an eyeshadow look that takes 10 seconds. Patrick Ta Cream Eyeshadow, way easier to use than a stick of eyeliner. I personally have not tried an eyelash color that I thought was way better than the others, but I'm always in the market, so if you love yours, leave it in the comments. Mary Kay Great Lengths Mascara. I get asked almost daily if I have eyelash extensions. Kiss Falscara Lashes. Pop one on the corners of your eyes to make them look super flirty. Chanel Le Beige Bronzer. Love the coral streak in it because it really does kind of mimic a sunburn. A little bit more of the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. Patrick Ta Double Take Duo Blush because that cream side is absolutely everything. Rhode Peptide Lip Shade. These last forever and I love how creamy they are. Charlotte Tilbury Plumpgasm Gloss for a plumping effect that doesn't hurt. And finally, we've been using this since high school for a reason. MAC Fix Plus. Okay, those are the products off the top of my head that I think are 100% worth your money. I'm personally going to be stocking up during the upcoming Sephora sale, but let me know if you'd like part 2 because I have many more racks.
All right, this might be kind of going at it hot out of the gate because I don't like to make fun of people and their mannerisms and try to make it personal in that way. Like, no hate to any of these creators that I'm showing, and I'm not trying to negatively spotlight any person in particular. And I know I was kind of making fun of the mannerisms during the play of the video. But the reason for that was because I see a bunch of influencers speaking like this as if it's a common language of influencing. With the kind of overconfident diction, the inflection, the speaking, the gestures, just the manner of speaking, the mannerisms in general are something that come off to me as artificial, as overdone, as kind of a generally accepted method of communicating in terms of influencing products, telling us recommendations of what we should want and what we should buy. And as far as like the specific products in this video go, there's nothing that I see as, if you don't need it, then anything that you buy and don't need and don't use, especially if it turns out to be a mistake, is a problem. But in terms of the individual products here, it's not that I want to point at anything in particular and say that you should never buy any of this, it's a problem. I have heard instances of some of the specific products, like if we want to go through from the beginning here, the first product is a designer name, Armani, that's probably more expensive than it needs to be for the product that it is, even if it's good. Or, again, I typically don't use designer makeup. I do have a couple of examples that I do continue to use because it's the product that works best. And so if this is the product that genuinely works best for you, then, I'm not going to hate on that. But it is one of those categories of product that there's probably a cheaper version out there. And if you want to save money, which is kind of the implication with the Sephora sale, right? You're buying during this time to save some money. Then, depending on how much money you would prefer to save, it might be more effective to switch to a cheaper product. That's going to come back later in this reaction video, I feel, so I'm going to leave that one there. Oh, the other ironic thing about the foundation is that she said it was for coverage that actually looks like skin. And perhaps aptly for this particular video, I did actually just come back from work, hence this obnoxious visitor sticker that I'm going to take off right now, actually. I don't want it to be a distraction in this video. But perhaps on brand for this video, I am not actually wearing any makeup at all. I did go to work, and my coverage looks like skin because that's all it is. It's coverage that actually looks like skin. I didn't actually need any expensive foundation, so I just thought that was funny as well. The next product is a concealer, viral for a reason. I have not been infected with this concealer, so the virus didn't get to me, and I don't feel the need to try this particular concealer. Just as a side note, I don't really like the doe foot applicators for products that go on my face, especially concealing products, since generally I'm concealing things like acne and breakouts, and I don't really like the idea of having a doe foot applicator that goes back into the product going on directly to the broken out areas of my face. And, is my method perfect either? No. Like, my concealing method right now is is a stick product, which again, goes directly onto your face. But for whatever reason, the doe foot applicator, I honestly don't even like it for lip gloss and cream eyeshadows if I can avoid it. Like, I like the crayon form, I like the stick form, I guess I even like products that you stick a brush or your fingers into directly. And, it's not more sanitary, right? Like, that was kind of the angle I was opening this with. No, it's not. I accept that. However, it's just not my preferred format. It's a little too fussy for me. And I have realized that, and I'm trying to finish up all of my doe foot applicator lip gloss and not repurchase any of that. And, is it more wasteful to have a doe foot applicator than a tube or anything like that? I don't know. I would love to know, actually. Is there a less wasteful format for makeup products that we can choose, aside from shopping brands specifically that avoid plastic? Is there a middle ground, in other words? But anyway, that might be getting off into the weeds, a topic for a different day. Let's see what else. A blush bronzer, again with the Armani expensive brand, I'm assuming. I haven't checked prices, so I could be wrong. Cloud Set Baked Powder here. Get rid of the shine, keeps the glow. A little bit of an oxymoron, but I guess if it works for you, it works for you. The Beverly Hills Brow Freeze with some scary looking brows there to prove that it keeps your brows where you place them. And again, if you like that look, if that's something you prioritize, then it might be a product that genuinely works for you. I have chosen that I am at a phase where I don't need to do anything with my brows. They can just kind of live their lives and be crazy. And, I might not look beautiful to you or done or put together or the way that you want to look. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with it if you want to do your brows as well. This is not a video about products you should or shouldn't use. Again, with the Armani and eye tint. Patrick Ta, I have heard some issues about these particular products and his eyeshadows in general becoming moldy. And, that's one of the reasons why I would not venture into trying these products. I am not willing to risk these kind of more expensive eyeshadow products that have known issues. I mean, bottom line is I don't need any more eyeshadow, but having heard about the issues with this one, will not be trying Patrick Ta eyeshadow products. And again, she's talking about how these products are easy to use. Well, the ones I have are also easy to use. So it's not that these ones are the only ones that have that feature about them. And so, the language and the way she's explaining it to us can feel a little bit misleading, and it can make us wonder if these are easier to use than the products that we already have, and therefore maybe push us into wanting to try them and buy them during this period where they're a few dollars cheaper than usual. The next thing she says is that she's always on the lookout for an eyelash curler that might be better, that might be noticeably better than the one she uses. And I think this is also a dangerous mentality to be in. It's like always looking for that perfect one, right? I made a whole video on that, so I won't dwell on that too much here, but let's not be always looking out for, or always in the market, sorry, that's what she said, always in the market for a new version of a product that you have that works. Let's de-influence that whole mentality. Eyelashes, eyelash extensions. I don't know. Again, it could just be that I'm an old lady now. I did get a comment on my Amazon must-haves about how I'm in my mid-30s and some of these influencers are in their 20s. I would consider myself in my early 30s, just for the record. But, not that that's a point of huge contention here. I don't know how old this creator is. I wouldn't be able to guess just from looking at her that she's younger than I am. So I don't know that it's as relevant in this case. And, this is not about age, but it's, for me, even the other video wasn't really about age. I think fashion is universal. It doesn't have to apply to certain age groups. But anyway, I maybe am just getting to a point in my life, a stage of my life, where when I contemplate wearing eyelash extensions on a regular basis, what sticks out to me more is the waste of that. That's a disposable product that you glue on to your eyes. And first of all, it's not comfortable, which is a higher priority for me now than looking flirty. Second of all, I just think about how that little piece of presumably plastic, right? Like, what are eyelash extensions made out of? I have to guess that they're plastic, right? They're not real hair, are they? Even if they are, like, there has to be some kind of wasteful material in the manufacturing of them. And I'm just not willing to participate in that in the same way as I used to be when I was younger, perhaps, or before I knew about these things. And again, I don't really want to make it about age. I think it's more about the information and the life that I've lived, the people that I've interacted with, the values that I've consumed, both in terms of the influencing side of consuming products, but also the educational side of why consuming so many products might not be the move anymore. And so, I don't think it depends on age. I think you can reach a point of your development where you see something like this, and even if you're curious and want to engage, even if you want flirty eyelashes, you can consider how daily extensions and disposal of those extensions, or however often they can be reused, like, that's just something that's a little wasteful, and maybe we don't want to engage in that as an everyday norm for our own lives. We get to set what's normal for our own routines and behaviors and habits. I have been making a list actually of products that I don't use every day that have been presented as normal, and some of these are very normal, I would say, and I'll share that again at a later date. So I'm not going to go into it here lest this video turn into a marathon. But anyway, so that's what I have to say about the products like eyelash extensions. Going in with blush, powder, blush again. Was that 3 different blush products? I thought she already used a liquid blush product at the beginning as well. Anyway, why use one product when you could use 3? If you know, you know. The Rhode Peptide Lip Shape. She says these last forever. I've actually seen the opposite in any reviews I've seen of this product. So again, I would not be willing to try it just based on the few negative comments I've seen about it. I wasn't interested in it in the first place, but it's just something I've seen in these kind of periods where I am looking at these videos in order to give critical consumer feedback on them. And so I am not remotely interested in trying that product. A plumping gloss that doesn't hurt. You do you, but again, I am not really willing to put something that burns my lips on, because I just feel like that response is a signal from my body to say that that's not normal. And I would rather listen to that now than put products on my body that are deliberately irritating irritants. And I have a video coming as well about how to be the right amount of crunchy granola or crunchy, whichever it is. Again, like, I see people get into fights about what the terminology is, but I will save that chat for that discussion as well. That one's coming soon, so watch out for that. Okay, and finally, I think this is a setting spray, and I've already talked about these, it's not a product I need. And again, there is probably going to be someone in the comments being like, oh, a setting spray helps my makeup actually have an effect and last. And good for you. You do you. I'm not trying to take it away from you. I'm not trying to say nobody needs this. I'm just trying to say that I don't need this. And for other people out there, I can't be the only one that doesn't need it and tried it because I thought I should. And that's just the lingering point here, is that when we consume media like this, that's like, these are the holy grails, these are my recommendations, I have tons of recommendations, I'm a professional, whatever it is, that's when we can be lured into thinking that we have a need that we don't actually have. And it's a sale time, so we should act on trying it right now when we can save a few dollars, when in reality, maybe we don't. And again, like I said, these videos, I have a scroll here, video of me scrolling the page. These videos have been popping up, 2 days ago, 5 days ago, 1 day ago. They're just everywhere because of the upcoming sale. And everybody is using this as an excuse to make more content about the makeup, about the stuff, about, the flat lays of must-haves. The must-haves, again, the language is all kind of, run and get it. I think one of these next videos is actually, the next one I have here is, girls, what are we getting for the spring Sephora sale? It's just this creator showing her bag full of makeup products and asking, apparently, what other people are getting. And what's the implication here? That she needs to figure out what to get? Or is she trying to show us that she already has enough and doesn't actually need to shop? This is the kind of content that's popping up just to kind of piggyback on the sale and the interest in the sale, the hype around the sale, and I guess try to get some more attraction and attention on her page. I don't really know. Or, is she getting recommendations in the comments? Is she looking for things? I don't want to lampoon individuals here, so I haven't done a ton of screenshotting comments and things like that, because I don't want to create trails of, following people and kind of humiliating people through there. I know it's a fairly anonymous platform. But anyway, the idea that we need to ask a community of other people on TikTok what we should be buying, what we should be wanting, what we need in our lives, I think outsourcing that is a major sign of our overconsumption problem as a general society. I did screenshot another creator's sale wish list. I didn't save the video of the wish list because we don't need to be here all day, but the point of this screenshot was that it's all a write-off. So, that's her caption here, because presumably she's a makeup influencer, and so anything she buys will be a write-off. In her case, it's a business expense. And for the reality for most people shopping the sale is that that's not going to be the case. Although, I question this even as I say it, how many people shopping the sale are actually creators and using it as a write-off in some way, shape, or form, right? Like, I don't fully understand how it works. I guess the other thing is how many people are aspiring to be influencers and to be able to write these things off and are kind of operating under that assumption, right? A lot of these sale videos are created by people with smaller followings, and I just have to assume that they're making these videos with the intention to accumulate more attention and more followers and kind of participate in this landscape of influencing by sharing their must-haves, sharing what they would buy, sharing, asking what other people would recommend and things like that, right? So that's another kind of insidious factor of sale season, particularly the Sephora sale is just one of the bigger ones on social media. And I guess the bottom line there for most people is if you're not an influencer, don't shop like one. That's another topic that I've got in my journal here to talk about later. That one might not come out until May. So again, sorry for the delay, but if you feel like being notified about that, you can subscribe. And goodness, I mean, I do one parody where I ask people to subscribe, and now it's becoming a regular thing on this channel. But I did notice that when you say subscribe now, the button will light up. So did that happen? Let me know. The next video, another what to get during the Sephora sale, because if you didn't have anything on your list, maybe you could put some of this stuff on your list now that you don't really know that you need, therefore probably didn't need. Let's go.
Here's what to get from the upcoming Sephora sale. This Gizu set is brand new and it comes with 3 products, 2 of which are full size. The set is $65, but it's worth $97, so adding that extra 10 to 20% off makes this a really good deal.
It's worth $97. No. We're gonna walk it back, okay? Okay, let's finish the video before we explode here.
And the new Tower 28 powder blushes are definitely worth picking up during the sale. These are a combination of a blush and a setting powder. The regular price is $22, but during the sale you can get them for as low as $17. If you're a fan of Stay, I recommend picking up this starter kit during the sale. The regular price is $45, but during the sale you can get up to 20% off 2 full-size products and a mini glowy super gel. If you're looking to get a new sunscreen on sale, I really recommend the Dream Beam one from Kosas. This makes your skin glow. The regular price is $40, so you'll want to take advantage of the sale discount. For a skin tint, this one from Ilia is a great option to get on sale. This has great coverage, but it is $48, so depending on your Beauty Insider status, you can get this for up to 20% off. And this is a super underrated glow recipe product I recommend getting on sale. This is great for smoothing out textured skin. It's normally $40 and it's definitely well worth picking up on sale. These lip balms from In Beauty Project are also so underrated. They have SPF 30 and the shades are so pretty. You'll definitely want to grab these with that extra discount.
All right, so I might have just been out of the loop for too long. Honestly, I only had a couple of years where I was in the Sephora Insiders Club or whatever it was. Like, it was never a cornerstone of my overconsumption habits or shopping interests. And so maybe I just only had a brief period where I justified these prices, I guess. And maybe that's something that makes it easier for me to step back out of it or not be influenced by this, or to see this as ludicrous, in other words. And it's kind of like this juxtaposition or a paradox of you could save a few dollars during the sale on this $22 product and it becomes $17, and the distraction here is not that you are spending $17 on a blush, but it's that you're saving that $5 or whatever, and therefore it's a good time to buy it. And not just that, but here's a whole list of things that you might want to consider. There's a $48 skin product that you might be able to get 20% off of depending on your status, and therefore now is the time to buy, even though that product is still going to be $40 or whatever, I am not going to do all of the math right here, and she included more prices in here, and I am just shocked repeatedly that, and again, like I said, there is still a mascara mascara that I shared about in my recap that is $30, and with tax, $32 for a product that I replace maybe twice a year and spend $60 on, and consider that worth it. And as I say it now, I'm still kind of second guessing that, right? Do I actually think that's worth it anymore? And it's not because I have less money than I did, it's just that I value it differently now. And I question, maybe the one product that works, the mascara in my case, is something that's okay, but I would not be looking to add more products that I use regularly at this price point to my collection. And that's what I mean by the paradox of the Sephora sale. Is Sephora is already a relatively expensive place to get makeup when you consider that there's pharmacies and drugstores, and drugstore makeup is a thing. And for those people that want to save money, shopping at the Sephora sale in order to save money is kind of counterproductive, because you can't actually get things for what I would consider reasonable makeup prices. And again, I have a video coming, broken record right here, about how things should not be cheap. And in the video, I'm talking about clothing in particular. And when I think about it, there is an element of things shouldn't be too cheap. But I question how much that applies with makeup and beauty products, because humans, I guess, are not doing a ton of labor to create each product. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression that most of these things are made and packaged in factories, and there's not as much human labor involved as there is in something like fashion. And, I don't want to support drugstore makeup brands if that means supporting exploitation and sweatshop labor and things like that. And so maybe I do need to delve more into this. Maybe Sephora's prices are humane and just, and I kind of doubt it, because the companies at the top are still those ones that are known for perpetuating not the greatest things. And it's not like Sephora is known for being sustainable and green and eco-friendly or whatever as a company overall, right? Like, again, correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't want to fall into the trap of saying nothing is worth this much money, because I don't want to shortchange the more sustainable options or the more eco-friendly options that might be being developed and might be worth the actual price increase there. And so that's not what I'm trying to say. However, the idea of shopping the Sephora sale to save some money on makeup starts to seem more ridiculous when you can get comparable products, the dupes or whatever, the drugstore dupes, for much less money. Instead of the $17 blush, maybe you get a $10 blush that's not on sale, and that's the $22 blush originally is you could get a version of for $10 or whatever it is, And again, I have a hard time standing too firmly behind this point, because at the end of the day, would I rather buy less makeup at a higher price point, stay with the Sephora brands that are kind of given that luxury status, or buy drugstore dupes? Like, I still don't have that answer for myself. But I do find myself second guessing a lot more now, and I certainly don't want to accumulate more than I can actually use at this price point, right? Again, not saying that cheaper prices justify overconsumption, but if I'm gonna have, let's just say, 2 blushes in my collection, then maybe I'm okay with having 2 Sephora level blushes. If I'm gonna have 5 that I can't use up within a year, or have no kind of, it's just color options and things like that, I become less willing to make both of those blushes $22 blushes, right? Like, the diminishing returns, I guess, there for me is in having more. Like, I don't necessarily feel that it makes sense to elevate, it's kind of like lifestyle creep in a way, where it's like, now I need X amount, 5 $22 blushes instead of 2 or whatever. And right now I'm still working on a mini that was admittedly $15, which is very expensive when you look at the size of the product. But I got that in January, and it's still going strong for my use purposes. And if that's the product that lasts me a year or until it expires or whatever it is, and works the best for me, again, like, I don't have the final answer on this. And again, there's no right answer, right? But like I said, I'm going to bring it back to the point that struck me when I watched this, is that if you are shopping the sale to save money, and because you would not buy these things full price, then you might want to question where you're shopping for makeup in the first place, and whether or not you need more makeup than you already have, right? Is it worth it to you? Is it actually worth the money? Is it worth, because honestly, you're only saving a few dollars. And so you can't really tell yourself that it's a good deal or that you're saving a bunch of money to buy makeup at the Sephora sale, if it's not too radical to say that maybe we don't need to have as much makeup, or maybe all of our makeup doesn't have to be that expensive. Okay, the next video is the classic run, don't walk. All right, it's kind of funny to me that she pulls this bag out of another bag, which like, if there's not anything else in the bag, rather, does she need the double bag? Or was that just a waste of the paper? Like, was this for the video? And again, like, guilty as charged. I went to Sephora in my recap. I, again, talked about that already and didn't get there in time verbally with the cashier to not have the bag for my one product. And rather than, make her take it back when she had already put the product in there, I just ran with it and have used it in various pieces of content since and still have it kicking around. So I'm just as guilty. I'm not nitpicking on this one person for doing this, but it is funny to see the striped bag coming out of the bag. The other thing is, these are the Sephora favorites for $52. It's worth $149, but as we know by now, nothing is worth what it's actually worth, both in terms of the huge markups that are put on them to sell, and we know the products inside are actually not even worth $52, or they wouldn't be making a profit on it. So that concept of it's worth $149, actual value, retail value. I mean, okay, the retail value is $149, so that part is true. It's not like they're lying. But the feeling that we get when we see that, right? Like, oh, I saved $100 by buying it this way or whatever, is just kind of manipulation. It's marketing tactics, and it often works. And then we look at all these favorites. How many of these products do we actually want to try? How many of them are actually going to work for us? How many of them might be compromised because they might be in the mini format? And sometimes, not all the time, the minis will have some formulation issues or kind of application issues because of that. And I guess my bottom line here is, if you didn't want to try all of these, or if there's even one product that you wouldn't have chosen to try, then buying it this way is a little bit wasteful. And I know there's that aspect of fun, of surprise, of kind of like the grab bag mystery that we get when we just get a selection of pre-selected things that we didn't choose. And there's like the novelty fun aspect of it. Honestly, I suspect that a lot of people will just want to buy it for the bag. And that's a huge marketing gimmick right there, right? Like, they made a reusable Sephora bag. Like, it's not going to be used like that. I can pretty much guarantee it now that it's not going to be used like that. Like, people aren't going to be carrying this reusable bag in to do their Sephora shopping. I mean, I would love to see that, if so, right? Like, if this becomes the norm and they stop giving out single purpose bags, like, okay, maybe. But again, like, I don't know if they're selling the bag without the product in it though, and this could just be a tactic to get people to want to buy it for that bag, if that's the only exclusive way to get this bag. And again, this, I almost said character. Goodness, this influencer, this creator, has kind of fallen into that trap, or is perpetuating that trap for us. It's so cute. Literally everything I was looking for and need at Sephora, and run, don't walk to get one for yourself. All right, I have one more video from a pro makeup artist who is talking about these products, 10 non-negotiable Sephora sale items. Let's just watch a little bit of this one. This one's long, and we'll see what we think.
These are 10 non-negotiable products that you need to consider getting during the Sephora sale. Everybody needs a good eye cream.
Okay, I'm already bristling. Everybody needs a good eye cream. No, I don't. So, wrong. Again, the must-haves are not must-haves. Again, you can disagree with me. Again, you can think that eye cream is a life-changing product for you. You can even think that it would change my life, right? But that doesn't make me have to buy one or have to even care about looking old and wrinkly, right? Like, presumably, eye cream is to help your under eyes or eye area not age faster than it needs to, I guess, or that's the idea. And I don't want to take that away from you if you feel empowered in using these products, or feel like they actually make a difference and feel like that's a positive thing to add to your life and your routine, right? Like, no. But again, my kind of premise here is, because there are people saying that everybody needs a good eye cream, and I'm a pro makeup artist, so I feel justified in sitting here and saying, not everybody needs a good eye cream. Not everybody needs an eye cream at all. Just being the voice on the other side. I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking her. I'm just saying that there is another side to this, and that for various reasons, right? You could just not care. You could just not want to spend your money that way. You might not be able to afford to spend your money that way, but for various reasons, you might not want to contribute to the plastic waste. Again, like, there might be ingredients in that eye cream that you're dubious about putting on your face every day or close to your eye area. There's so many reasons. Maybe there was exploitation in the process of making this product. So do we truly want to support all of those potential, again, I don't want to say evils, because that's putting it a little too heavily, I think, but is it something that we actually think we need and is going to add enough value to our lives to run and buy it during the Sephora sale? Or is it something that if we weren't already using, do we actually need to think that we need it, if that makes sense? And again, sorry if I'm coming across as a little too salty in this one.
This is my favorite eye cream of all time. It doesn't have super fancy packaging. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles. It gets the job done. This is the Kiehl's Creamy Avocado Eye Cream. And as you can see, it's already empty. I go through these like crazy. It is truly one of the best eye creams. Looks incredible under makeup. I use it on every single client, never have an issue. It has a great price point and it makes your concealer look so much better. 10 out of 10. Take my word for it. Going right into another skin prep product. This is another one that I always run through. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Water Cream. And when I say magic, I mean magic. It just deeply hydrates the skin so beautifully. Unlike other gel.
So I do like to see the products that are actually used up, right? That is an improvement from influencers who kind of show products that are mostly full and say they love it. I mean, this is maybe positive in the regards that there's proof in the pudding as far as, you know, she's probably not lying about the fact that she uses these things regularly.
Moisturizers. This one really deeply hydrates the skin. I feel like some gel moisturizers can pill and feel too lightweight, like you're not getting anything. It leaves your skin looking glowy, dewy, bouncy, and makeup just goes so good on top of this. I actually prefer this to the original formula, and they even have the travel size, so if you just wanted to dabble into it, get that. Unless you're new here, you know that this is one of my favorite skin prep products. I've been using this in my kit religiously for years. These pads are just simply amazing because they don't really irritate the skin, but they gently exfoliate. I love to use these under my makeup, especially if I'm having dry skin or a client has dry skin or flakiness or anything like that. This is going to soften the skin just enough so your base is nice and smooth and glowy and ready for everything else you put on top of it. A new favorite of mine in the skin prep category is the iconic London Underglow Drops. These are so beautiful on the skin as skin prep before you put on foundation. If you're like me and don't really love using heavy primers, anything too much, this is perfect. It gives you exactly what it says, an underglow. This one looks like your skin is glowing from within. It actually also evens out the skin very lightly. It's a beautiful product and it's universal, and my foundation glides right on. A makeup tool that I will never stop raving about is the Makeup by Mario F4 brush. I'm not the biggest fan of dual-sided brushes, but this one, I have so many in my kit. They're incredible. It's worth all your coins. This entire brush, I could complete my whole entire face. Green bronzer, I could do foundation. I could blend in my concealer. I can blend in my blush. The fibers of it are so perfect. They're really heavy duty. I've had this brush for over a year and it's still intact. It's just the best.
All right, so I do have mixed feelings about this one because I'm getting the vibes of she's actually recommending the products that she uses in real life and that has used up clearly. And it is kind of an instance where these might be some good recommendations. And this becomes more of a question of, do I actually have a need in my life for the best of the best? Or am I okay with using what I have, certainly first, if I don't need to replace anything during this time because of the sale? Or do I even need to consider the product that looks the best or goes best under makeup? Or are there other parameters in my life that might be more important, right? Again, everything that I mentioned before, the price points, the ingredients, the functionality, the steps added to my routine, the time, the investment, you know, the investment of everything, the space, the storage. Do I have other values than looking the best in my makeup products, having the best makeup products? And, you know, it's not to say, you know, in this instance, I might just be a girl who doesn't get it anymore as far as the prioritization on having the best makeup, the nicest kind of products, the things that work the best. And again, all of these things are things that are good impulses. We want the things that work the best, that are going to last, that are going to be nice and kind of have that treat yourself, maybe even luxury feeling, and that are taking care of ourselves in the best way that we can afford to, and ideally paying other people fairly in the process of manufacturing these products and all that good stuff, all that good human rights kind of stuff that should be a given. But again, this is maybe the more dangerous territory for anybody who has a shopping habit. And this is maybe where we come full circle on this video as somebody who's speaking on this channel from the lens of Project No Buy, in terms of now having the goal of wanting to not buy rather than buy. And that was a very convoluted way of saying, in colloquial terms, you could say that I had a shopping addiction and want to stop that. And while that might be an overstatement as far as, you know, I consider that I had shopping habits that I wasn't happy with and would like to stop, and therefore have made my number one choice to not buy. And that's where I'm coming from now. And so that might be why I'm having some of this, what could be unreasonable feedback to videos like this that are just kind of peacefully existing, recommending products that they truly think are great products. And that's kind of, you know, I was talking about this in the comments with somebody, or I was responding to a comment where influencers talking about these things these things that can make a positive difference in somebody's life, these things that can be useful but aren't actually necessary. And what's more, people that you think are cool and aspirational in some way and that you relate to and I think the commenter was saying that people you relate to a lot have the power to recommend things that you'll be interested in trying. And so especially these things that you might have a use for, that might make your life easier, etc. And if you relate to them and kind of feel some similarities, then they have the power to kind of recommend these things, or, you know, even if you don't relate, but find them aspirational in some way. And so if I look at this creator and say, wow, a makeup artist, her makeup's beautiful, she knows these things, this is aspirational, I kind of relate as far as wanting to look like that, have that kind of ability, have the best kind of products for the use that they're supposed to fulfill, etc., and feel that connection, then I'm more likely to be influenced by a video like this. And for me, something that's even more relatable, like my example, my personal example would be if there was a classical music influencer and they were saying, you know, these are the best viola strings ever, you know, maybe you should try these because they did so much for my sound or whatever. And there are a lot of reasons that that's not the kind of content showing up on your For You page, right? Because that's not super relatable to most people. And again, I think this might have some airtime and a dedicated video in the future, so we're going to pump the brakes there. But my point is that if we aspire to any of this, then we are easily influenced, or more easily influenced, by watching videos like this. And so we just have to be careful in that we go in to any sale periods, or honestly, anytime we go into social media, with our ideas and our values intact and our kind of shopping lists, right? Like, it's like when you talk about shopping with a list, going to the grocery store with a list, it's almost like you have to go to social media with a list of things that you maybe aren't buying, things that you are in the market for, so that you don't get distracted by anything else. And the line becomes muddy when it's like, oh, I'm consuming this for fun entertainment and not to buy anything. But then you get these ideas planted of products that you didn't really know about or didn't have on your list of considerations before. Sometimes they're products that you didn't even use before. Things like the brow products and the setting powders. And, you know, not all of us grew up using these products. I certainly didn't when I was a teenager in high school. You know, not all my friends used all of these things. And so these only became on my radar as an adult. And so I was the age to start considering, like, should I use these things? And I didn't have that grocery list of, nah, I don't really need that, you know. And it's not always harmful to try something new, try a new look, try a new product. Like, I'm not trying to say that either, but I wasn't educated enough to use social media in a responsible way to not get influenced by this, even this kind of material that seems helpful, seems legitimate, seems, you know, professional in a way. You know, this is related to her job. She's probably actually telling us her best products. And so, again, none of this was made to be critical to any of these creators, but it's just a mentality as far as approaching with the goal of not buying and evaluating whether we need to buy anything or shop any sale, you know, not just the Sephora one. Okay, let's just watch the rest of this quickly and see if there's anything else.
Let's talk about these House Labs Glossy Bombs. These completely stole my heart. They're incredible. I've already depotted all the shades and put them in my kit. My favorite shade has to be the pink one. It truly gives your skin a glass-like glow, unlike anything that I've tried, and it doesn't disturb your makeup, and it gives your skin this glass-like sheen. If you're into glowy makeup, if you just want to have a product that can give you a pop of glow, you can use this on the eyes, you can use it on the chest, on the face. It's a magical product. I think everybody should own one.
Oh, it's a magical product. I think everybody should own one. And again, it's not the product I have a problem with, but let's just take my personal life, for example, here. You know, like, I have two products that do the job of this already. One looks very similar, right? I think it's a Merit highlighting stick that looks very similar to this in packaging and presentation. It might not look exactly the same in results, but it doesn't really matter. I have that, and I have a powder. And she is not saying use the one you already have and then buy this when that runs out because it's a good product to try next. That's kind of the responsible consuming subtext here, right? Like, she's saying it's a magical product that I think everybody should own one of. And what I'm saying in return is, okay, maybe, but maybe use up the ones you have first and then put this on your list for things to try next, rather than think you need to shop for it right now just because there's a sale on and you might save a few dollars. And my old consuming habits, I would have seen this and thought, oh, it's a sale time. I should just buy it now and stockpile it for later when my other one runs out. Or, you know what, maybe I could have 3 highlighters in my collection and that would be fine to rotate through 3. even though that would mean that I used up the 3 or 2 that I already had much slower. They might expire. I already don't use it enough to run out before the expiry dates probably come around, or before the products become less effective or whatever, right? And so for my uses, I'm not a makeup artist, and a lot of people watching this probably are not professional makeup artists. For my uses, I just don't need that many products. And it might be natural for her to say, it's magical, everybody needs it, because she uses up these products, and it might not even occur to her that it's not sustainable for the average consumer to say, oh, it's magical, I need it, let me get rid of the one I have and replace it with this before finishing it, or let me just add this to my collection, and if it's really better, I'm not even going to want to use the other ones, and they're just going to go to waste, right? Like, the better thing to do, and maybe this is obvious again, but again, talking to my past self, better thing to do here is to use the ones you have, put this on a list for later, and you can even wait till the next sale. Like, the Sephora sale has a pattern, right? There's going to be another one at the end of the year. There's going to be one next year. And maybe by then there'll be new highlighting products on the market. And there'll be another magical one that pushes this one out of the top seat. And, you know, all sorts of things could happen to make this purchase a bad idea.
Again, with House Labs, I absolutely adore their blushes, okay? Powder blushes, cream blushes, everything House Labs makes is amazing. But if you're looking for an everyday or even a regular cream blush, this blush is incredible. My 2 favorites at the moment are Glassy Rosette and Pomelo Peach. They're just stunning. The way that they slip and glide onto the skin, and they look gorgeous over powder as well, mixed in with the highlighting balm. Like, Gaga is really in that lab cooking up the Makeup by Mario lip glosses. I'm obsessed with these.
Okay, the final point on blush is that I definitely feel that I can wear too much. And, you know, for me, again, this creator looks beautiful. It looks great on other people. But for me, if I have this much pigment on my cheeks, I do feel a little garish. And again, it's a me thing. I'm just not a girly who gets it. But once again, it's one of those things that I may have been influenced to try without thinking about that before. And without really thinking about, and without really considering, is that the look that I'm comfortable with? Am I likely to use that product in the way it's intended? And do I need another version of this product if I have one that gives me a look that I'm comfortable with? Do I want to push the envelope at this time right now? Am I prepared to commit to trying it and wearing it? And again, I'm not saying don't try anything new ever. I'm just saying have that intention and that conversation with yourself before, or, you know, alongside your contemplation of purchasing this new to you product. I guess the question is, do you actually want that look, or to try that maybe style that's not so familiar? Or do you just want to shop or buy something that's new to you? Right?
Okay, these are truly a high shine lip gloss, like 30-40 minutes later and my lips are still shiny. It's just beautiful, and there's nothing better than a super high shine lip gloss. Now, there are so many foundations that I can recommend for the Sephora sale. There's glassy foundations, matte foundations, full coverage, medium coverage, skin tints, but these are the 2 that I reach for the most and I find the most versatile, and that is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation and the House Labs Foundation. This is never going to probably change, and if it does, I'll be shocked. It's just one of those foundations that I use on my clients, I use on myself. I can trust it no matter what.
I'm starting to wonder if she has a House Labs sponsorship.
Beautiful set down with powder. And then this is something that I just feel so confident when I wear. My skin looks beautiful, it looks even, it looks glowy, it looks hydrated, and it also sets down so beautifully. And my favorite thing about NARS is their shade range. They have shades that are olive, they have shades that are golden. They've seen that they actually just expanded the shade range for this line, which is exciting. I had to put a runner up in the foundation category, so I guess this makes it 11. Dior foundation stick. This has quickly become one of my favorite products when I need a quick beat. It has such a creamy formula with high coverage. This one is worth the coin. My only complaint is that they need a better shade range. If they expand their shade range with this, like how they did with the Dior Face and Body, they'll be on the money with this. I have it on right now, and it just looks beautiful as it wears throughout the day. It just looks even better. She's a little runner-up. If you're looking for a foundation stick and they have your shade, try it out. Like I said, these are only my top 10 non-negotiables. I can go on and on forever. I will have a few more dedicated videos breaking down my favorite blushes, powders, things like that, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Take my word for it with some of these. You will not regret it, okay? I promise. And as always, happy shopping.
As always, happy shopping. With that, maybe I'll have my own closeout here of unhappy shopping. Of sales are never a good idea as far as the motivation for buying something. You should never be buying something because it's on sale, and it should never influence how much you buy. All right, so that's the message I would like to leave you all with today, is that a sale should only be an incidental as far as being able to save a little bit of money on something that you were already planning to buy, that you already had a plan and a use and an intention for, already had the budget for. And I would even posit that unless you're within a certain time frame of when you're going to use that item, it's not even a great idea to stock up during a sale anymore, in my mind at least, in the ethos of Project No Buy. And especially with something like the Sephora sale, we know that they do this at least a few times a year. And so is it really worth the prospect of saving probably less than $5 a product to take notice of this and consume the media about this? And, you know, the only reason I consume the media about it is for this video, I'm going to be honest. And the only reason I thought about this video is because I happened to be in the Sephora store replacing a product, and they placed the sale flyer into my bag. And so, you know, that's how we come to be here today. But again, in general, we need to let these stores store our stuff for us until we're ready to use it. We don't need to be manipulated by the marketing of a sale to become a store in our own home and overconsume these things that we're not immediately using, or having our own collections of things explode with the ever-expanding options. And I think with that, I will bid you farewell today and say goodbye and see you in the next one. Let me know if you're going to shop from the Sephora sale. Postscript. What are you going to buy and why? Or are you not going to buy anything? That's the camp I'm in.